Good evening. Money, money, money. Space, space, space. Oh, do we have a lot for you tonight? A Colorado space startup just nailed $650 million. We'll tell you who that is. A company called Skyroot. I've sort of heard of them. Raised $60 million just now, and they did a bunch before, but they now have a $1.1 billion valuation, which is like wild. A company called Overview Energy just won an Air Force contract to supply, ready for it, space-based solar power for their bases. Astranis secures $450 million in equity and debt to expand their production. Scout Space raises $18 million for orbital tracking technology. Livery gets 28 million euros for defense applications. Space Force adds, they have got flush with cash now. They're adding 4.4 billion to build the next generation of space domain awareness satellites. Former NASA boss Jim Bridenstine has a new job. What do you hear what it is? Interloon gets a NASA contract to demo helium-3 mining tech. And here's something for the math geeks. Someone figured out a faster path to Mars. The bad news is we need to build a slightly faster ship to achieve it. All that, plus our guest, Nick Marquez. From the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, my name is Thomas Andrew Olson, and this is The Unknown Quantity. As you know, this program is brought to you by the Center for Space Commerce and Finance. And what do? Well, of course, we champion and strengthen emerging space startups and space-adjacent enterprises worldwide through advisory, access, and advocacy. Our pitch events and world-class boot camps fortify startups to be better investor-ready. Now, a lot of our work, especially this podcast, is supported by our listeners and fans like you. So just go to cscf.space/support and click that Plain Stay Donate button. A little in the tip jar each month makes a big difference. Or make it a lot. That would be even better. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends. In addition, I am putting out the call. I did it the other night. I'll do it today. The center is we're hiring. We're looking for an ambitious, freshly minted CPA for a little moonlighting work for a fee, but for a great cause and a great project. If you're interested, write to admin@cscf.space and do it as soon as you can. We really need the help. Now, speaking of friends, my oldest space friend, Michael Lane, who I understand just got a pet peacock, is here with me. Michael.
Hey,
I hear they're nasty animals.
Peacock. Oh, they are. My grandma actually had peacocks in her barn, and they're ferocious, no joke. But they're friendly to my grandma. They're just not 6-year-old version of me that would have to go up and feed them. So they spook. How's things? What's going on?
Okay, well, let's see. It's actually been a busy week for just a lot of stuff around the house. I just got a whole bunch of insulation blown into my crawl space, in the upstairs. So I'm hoping that's going to lower my electric bill a little bit this summer.
Right. Cools things down. Yeah.
That was today. Otherwise, I'm just trying to get through stuff. I had a cancellation on our big panel that we're doing, and so maybe I should tell you. Yeah, Dennis Stone couldn't make it; he's not coming. And so I know I'm trying to figure out who of that caliber could fill his seat.
Right.
I've got a couple of people I'm thinking of, but I don't know if you're available. I could put you on that panel. But guys like us, because we're talking about the future of entrepreneurship and investment in the 21st century for space, and make it everybody to come in. And I've got to, because Coburn told me that sometimes that first panel of the day on Friday after the first Thursday night
Right.
can be kind of sparsely populated.
Little tough.
There's-
It's a little
Everybody's
tough.
having a reunion until 2 in the morning. And so I'm going to try to do some kind of marketing to, encourage people to say, you know what, have
It's
one
worth
less glass of wine and come see us in the morning. You're not going to want to miss this panel. Trust me,
Right.
you want to make it. You want
Right,
to see
right. Who else is on it? Is that Daniel Faber? Is that the panel?
Dan Faber's on it, Lisa's on it.
Yeah.
And a guy from Saudi and a guy from Africa. And they're all amazing people.
Heck yeah. I want on that. I
Okay.
want on that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just having a conversation with somebody just a few hours ago. I'm like, look, we think we're a big deal with our $650 billion.
Yeah. Right.
And new stats just came out. The whole global economy is worth $130 trillion.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and only 4 countries do half of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and 2 of them are the US and China, and that's 40%. And the next 2 after that are
way down.
They're way down there. It's like Japan and France, maybe, or the UK. Yeah, but they're way little tiny guys to make up that. Then there's everybody else.
Right. And space kind of fits in the everybody else category, but
pretty much at the very bottom of the everybody else category.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But hey, 25 years ago, it was 0. There was no category.
Right.
So you know what?
Didn't even make the list. Yeah. That'd be great. I had another conversation, same person, about this rolling tsunami of new money that's gonna float in. All of the SpaceX people are about to be flush in ways that are game changing. So yeah, I'd love to be on that panel. That'd be super fun.
Okay.
I'll make sure I wake people up. I promise. I'll wake them up. If they come in the door, I'll keep them awake.
Okay. That's it. Well, it's not even that. It's like I want to pre-market. I'm going to try to get Rod Pyle to let me use his mailing list.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah.
Because we're all collegiate now. We're all on the same team. Why can't I put a little blurb out on their mailing list to promote our panel?
I'm going to respond to Sean for a second. He just said the star. So that Michael Mealing and I coined the phrase Starship Singularity, and then Garrettson came along and wrote a paper on it. Sean just referenced the SpaceX Singularity, which could be its own thing. And I think that's actually pretty insightful.
Yeah.
The world changed because of this. So yeah.
Well, there are small black holes, and then there are huge ones. So yeah, that's also a singularity, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Sucks in all the money. And so we'll see what's left at the periphery when it's done, right?
Nice. Right on.
Yes, Sean, thank you for that comment. I'm not going to replay that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So what do we got? Money. Here's another company I didn't really know anything about. That's because they're a defense startup.
Yeah.
So I don't pay as much attention to defense stuff probably as you do. But there's a company called True Anomaly, and they've raised $650 million in late-stage investment money, and they raised more than $1 billion since 2022. Its total valuation is now $2.2 billion.
Wow.
And they already have factories in Colorado and California, and they have a very aggressive plan, I guess, for the next 18 months. And so this, they're doing space domain awareness, and they're doing other types of things like that for Space Force and for the rest of the military. And they said they mentioned the space superiority matters because China and Russia have turned space from a sanctuary into a contested warfighting domain. That's their press release.
Yeah, that contested language goes back to General Raymond, the first Space Force commander. That was his phrase, contested. Congested and contested was his exact wording.
And so we're countering in the private sector with a $1 billion valuation and testy language. So there you go. But good for them.
Yep.
And I hope that that helps things. But that's a lot of money, and you gotta mention it.
You gotta. Yeah.
Well, here's some guys I've heard
of. Did you
say
that their valuation is only $2 billion?
$2.2 billion.
I want to dig into that because that doesn't make any sense to me, right? Yeah, that's just a multiple of 3.
It's even less than that because they raised since they started in 2022, they've raised $1 billion.
Right. I don't know how you
get $650 million, and their valuation is $2.2 billion. It should be
higher than that.
Triple that.
Right? Yeah. I've got a philosophy here at Liftport. It's like decacorn or nothing. Like we have to raise $350 million.
Yep.
If we only are valued at $1 billion, we have failed. Like our investors will not support that valuation. So it's got to be decacorn or nothing. And so I don't understand how a company can go from 2022, just 4 years ago, raise that much money and still only be valued that low. That's inconsistent with the market. I don't understand.
Yes, but Michael, you wish you were them right now.
I do, for sure I do. I'd be building an elevator on the moon, so different.
Yep. But that's a good question, Sean. How much did they give up for that valuation? It's got to be a lot.
Yeah, I don't understand, and it's inconsistent with the rest of the industry.
You know what though? But it's a company that basically has like one customer.
Yeah, good point on that for sure.
And so this is not a consumer product company. They're not making electronics or microchips. They can sell to anybody. They're making something for a specific customer, and probably a lot of it's classified.
Move to the next article though, because it kind of just proves the point I was just describing.
Absolutely. Here's a company I really haven't heard much about either, but Skyroot Aerospace just raised $60 million at a $1.1 billion valuation,
right
ahead of launch. And they're based out of India and in Hyderabad. And so that pushed their vehicle into unicorn area.
Mm-hmm.
And so the round was led by GIC, which is the Singapore state-owned sovereign wealth fund.
I didn't know that one. All right.
And Sherpalo Ventures, a firm run by an early Google investor, Ram Shriram, and a Silicon Valley guy. So, and he will join the board. So that's kind of interesting. They raise that kind of money, then have that valuation so huge.
Yeah.
Or opposite.
The folks I keep bringing up here at StarCloud in Seattle, they've got a $2 billion valuation, and they've pulled in pretty close to $400 million. So it's a 5x ROI.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's curious. It's curious. Good for them. Good for Skyroot. I don't know anything at all about this group.
And here's something came in. It's gonna help the guys doing space solar. They're gonna get all excited. But an outfit called Overview Energy won an Air Force contract to study space-based solar power for military bases.
Okay, so I know a lot about this, and I don't want to take all the time, but this is a topic of mine.
Okay,
so cool. Overview Energy, their secret sauce is a guy named Dr. Paul Jaffe. Jaffe has been doing this for at least 15 years that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Started out under the Naval Research Lab, went to DARPA, left DARPA recently, officially retired from government service, and took a role at Overview. So he has been in this field for a long time. He's friends with folks like Pete Gerritsen and Coyote Smith, and those two were kind of the pioneers who wrote the research book for the Air Force back in 2006, maybe. It might be all the way back 20 years ago. So it totally, and this also is the same group that a week and a half ago got a contract with Meta, with Facebook, to build their data, to power their data centers from the sky. So Overview Energy is on having a good year this year, right?
Good.
Between Jaffe and Meta and now Air Force contract, they're having a good year.
Absolutely. Yeah, they emerged from stealth only in this last December.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's but they're aiming to collect solar power in geo, the old-fashioned plan, and deliver it to solar panels on Earth. Right. So, and they will continue that way. They will continue to allow solar panels to continue to produce power at night.
Love it.
Yeah. Love it. But they don't mention money, so I don't know what the contract is for. But
yeah, no mention of money. And that's okay. An Air Force study contract isn't that big, typically, so I wouldn't expect it to be very large.
Sure. Okay. Next up, another company called Astranis. Another money day, guys. It's $1.5 billion day today so far. They secured $450 million in equity and debt to expand their small GEO satellite production. And it said and here we go. This is what it's for. They're positioning themselves for growing U.S. military demand.
Mm-hmm.
That's why these are companies we don't always hear a lot about but Golden Dome changed everything.
It did.
And all of a sudden, everyone's coming out of the woodwork and they're winning.
Yeah.
And they're winning. This is not just, people going nuts like back in the day when we had all sorts of companies chasing, they were out there chasing nothing.
One of our stories today, any one of them, pick one, 50 million, 400 million, 600, any one of those would have been the story of the year 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's just, we're having $1 billion day today. Okay. That's
okay. Next.
Right. Even last year, like we're only a little over 100 shows into this series. And even last year, we'd be like, we would have dedicated the entire program to digging into one of these stories last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you got to move on. You want to, our guest is coming. You got to,
Right? Fish in a barrel, he said. Right, exactly.
Fish in a barrel. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a pocket change one then. I hate to say that. I'm sure they're good people.
Right.
Scout Space just closed at 18 million Series A to expand orbital tracking technology.
Mm-hmm.
So since I'm pretty sure it's largely software based, it's not like these other things that are raising vast amounts of cash because they're bending metal.
They are.
Atoms and electrons are two different things.
So I'm not sure that's correct. I'm not 100% sure that this is the same company, but I thought Scout Space was going up there and doing observations on orbit. So they would go up, they have their own satellite and go up next to another satellite and take a picture. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe they changed their business model, but that was their business model before. I know they changed CEOs about a year ago. I don't know anything about that story at all, just that there was a change. So maybe this is a change in the organization too, but what I remember from a couple of years ago was they were going to do photographs of your satellite on orbit. And that has a lot of military applications. If you can get close enough to take a picture, you can get close enough to ram it.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I don't know what they're doing. I'm curious about this. I'm going to have to look up Scout.
Yep. Before I go to the next one, I just want to give a shout out to everybody. Obviously, Veronica Ann's here. She was here early. Joe Pistritto, Joe Luttrell, Jason Todd Sprecher, Morty.
Gang's all here. Y'all, thanks. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, there's a company called Live EO in Europe,
Hmm.
and they secured 28 million euros to accelerate their own push into defense applications. They're a German Earth observation data provider.
Hmm.
And so they're going to accelerate expansion into dual use defense and security services as it positions itself to compete for a share of Germany's planned 35 billion euros in spending on space related defense projects.
Hmm.
And so they've been around since 2018. They offer what they call an AI powered Earth observation analytics.
Is this, if you were to go back in time, is this the Planet Labs of Germany's sovereign effort?
Probably.
Yeah, that's how I'm interpreting this,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I see that.
The world is going to use the American playbook. We're
Mhm.
10 years ahead of everybody else, but they're trying to play catch up. That's how I read this. Was this is a good idea? Germany should do it. We've talked a lot about their 41 billion US investment in the defense, especially defense space projects, and so this is one of the first results of it. But this feels like Planet Labs for Germany. That's what it feels like.
It's just another example, though, of the desire of a lot of these countries to go sovereign, as it
Yeah.
were. They want to create their own capabilities and not be so dependent upon us.
If this is the Planet Lab equivalent, and they don't use lab anymore. That's not in even their name. I use it because I'm habituated to it. It's just Planet. If this is the German sovereign version, does that bode bad things for Planet? Because I'm sure Planet has a contract with DLR or whatever their apparatus is. I mean, I'm just guessing that, but yeah, I wonder how that sovereignty push is going to affect the positioning for our American companies that already have a role overseas.
Yeah, that's true. But we went through this before. We went through this before the other way around years ago when ITAR came on board.
Oh,
We had great companies that were selling great products to places like Italy, and all of a sudden, because of ITAR, they couldn't ship them to Italy anymore. So guess what? Italy got some investment and started figuring out how to make their own stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot.
Right. Yeah. I forgot about that. That's good. I like that link.
Yeah. Okay. What else we got? Okay, here we go. Okay. Now, of course, with the Golden Dome and everything else that's going on, Space Force is now flush with cash.
Yeah.
And so they invented a whole contracting vehicle they call RGXX, and they're going to add $4.4 billion to it. It's a nascent program to build next generation space domain awareness satellites for geosynchronous orbit. Now that award service already gave 14 companies a cumulative 1.84 billion to build those next generation.
We've been talking about those for a couple weeks now. Yep.
Yeah, we've talked all about that.
So this is deeper insight into the org that is making those awards. Oh, all right.
Yep. That's what this is. And they're saying they're going to award, Space System Command is going to award a contract modification to the 14 vendors that would increase the total ceiling to 6.2 billion. And so that's news.
Yeah, that's news.
And it's all to address the escalating threat environment, like those couple of those other guys earlier tonight. So here we go. And then they, of course, they name all the vendors again. We know who those people are. And they're not startups. Intuitive Machines is not a startup. L3 Harris, Lockheed Martin, Northrop. Some of the usual suspects, but you also got Redwire, Sierra, and True Anomaly. So there you go. Now here's the thing. This is what I thought. Remember just a little bit ago, Jim Bridenstine used to be NASA chief a long time ago.
Yep.
And then he was basically, I think he was a shill for, oh God, who is it? the redheaded stepchild of Boeing and
Lockheed. Was it Lockheed?
No, it was their redheaded stepchild.
Oh, ULA, right? Sure.
ULA.
Yeah.
ULA. It was them. And he was shilling for them for a while. He's like, being a lobbyist basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? He got a new job.
Right.
He got a new job, and he's joined Quantum Space as their next CEO.
I wonder how he's going to do now. I went on record when Bridenstine was first announced, not even selected. I'm like, this is terrible, right? I was all in the blue camp, and like, this is a terrible thing. And then, holy cow, did I switch gears on that? Like, once I saw him in action, once he was actually in the role, I'm like, this guy's amazing. Totally converted to him. Love that. Are you aware of any entrepreneurial background for him? Because I think he was in the Air Force, and I was thinking he was in Congress.
And he was in Congress. He was yanked right out of Congress to be NASA administrator.
Yeah. I don't know if he's got any entrepreneurial chops at all.
I don't think so. But then, hey, 50 years ago, Frank Borman was the head of Eastern Airlines.
Right.
You know what? Yeah, going around the moon in 68, that qualified him. Yeah, let's bring him on there. Okay. And so we're getting yelled at by Sean. So I could do two more, but I think I'll just do the one. And it's a quick one. I think we've talked about Interloon a lot. But they just announced today that they won a NASA contract to actually demo their helium-3 moon mining tech. And so it was a $6.9 million deal. And they just want to show everybody how it works.
Love it.
And that was that. Yeah, there's a whole thing about this guy. The last thing I had about some guy that figured out a faster way to Mars with it's a weird kind of where they started really tracking the orbits of asteroids, and turns out there's this kind of they're cutting across in a way that we didn't see before, in when they're moving within the solar system. And he traced that down and goes, I was not looking for this, and so it was like, this will get us to Mars faster, but to take advantage of that, we need to increase our speed. We need to have a craft that will go about 35,000 miles an hour or something, and so we have to go a little faster. But then all of a sudden, using those new trajectories, you could do a round trip to Mars with landing and coming back in 156 days.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa.
We just need something a little faster to do it in. Not much faster.
I thought this was going to be a punchline. I thought you were going to say you could get to Mars faster if you go faster. I thought you were leading up to a punchline.
Well, that's kind of what he's saying, but he's saying it using math.
Yes. Okay.
Math and physics. And so and the extra speed boost is really not that much in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
And so it's just like the next iteration of maybe a nuclear powered rocket would do it easily. And so it's just, we got to work on that.
All right. That's cool. No, I didn't see that. I thought it was a punchline. I ignored this article.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Are we ready for our guest?
Yeah, let's do it. Right.
Okay. Let's do that because we had it was a lot of money stuff. And that's why I thought to bring a money guy in tonight. And he's with us for the first time. His name is Nick Marquez. He's an associate with the Cadenwood Group in Victoria, British Columbia. He's joining us for the first time, giving us his own perspective of what he sees in the industry and investment. So, Nick, come on in. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
How's things?
Good, thanks. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Where are you guys based?
We are, I'm in Central Florida. The producer Sean is in Central Florida. Michael's all the way out in Seattle.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah. Just
he's
across
closer to
the
you.
street here. Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm in Victoria right now.
Oh yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I lived in Canada twice. I lived in Montreal for a year, and then also in Vancouver for a year. I've only gone up to Victoria one time, like 25 years ago. I have fond memories, but it's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody that goes to Victoria has fond memories of it. I do too, and
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
long before you went.
Yeah.
And so I had the greatest time. So, but somehow I never got back.
Yeah.
What is it about Victoria? I just never got back. Okay. And so you're in the investment management game here. You with this company. I guess you just started with them recently.
Yes, I started my internship in September. Finished it successfully in March. So now I'm an
Okay.
associate with Caden Group. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Give us
Yeah.
a little bit of background, a little bit of your origin story, and then why are you interested in space? Because your industry doesn't usually pay a lot of attention to our industry. Not yet.
I would say otherwise, based on what I've noticed in the trend in the past year. My background is in computer engineering. I'm also a lab tech, and I pivoted into finance recently. Just given the interest in technology and the ability to work with AI and other tools to implement it into the finance world. There's a big demand for that, and not a lot of people that are tech savvy enough to work with these tools. So I saw the demand in that, and then I started implementing that into what I do. And also Cadenwood implements AI tools, their own proprietary systems to work in the company as well. So that was basically it. It was kind of like a tech background. And as the advent of AI started growing, we saw that there was a demand for it in the finance world, and we decided to just dive in.
Neat, great. What do you like about space as an investment or as personal stuff?
Space is it's really exciting. I mean, since I was a kid, I was kind of I was a space guy. I wanted to be an astronaut. One of the reasons why I got into technology was because I was, the kind of guy that was born too early to be out there, exploring. So it was kind of like a dream for me to get out there. And I mean,
imagine me.
in any. Mm-hmm.
Imagine me. Yeah, I said the
Right.
same thing when I was
Right.
like, 10, even 20 years old. Yeah, I probably was born too soon to do certain things. I would love,
Yeah.
actually, I would love to be your age right now.
Right.
At this time in history.
Yeah.
I would love
I
it.
was just thinking
Go for
that
it.
exact thing. Like,
And
you're
so-
in the right
You're
spot.
not too old for anything. You could be walking on the moon 10 years from now. Who
Right.
knows?
We'll
And
see. That'll
probably,
be really nice.
Go to Dr. Plata's inflatable habitat there. 'Cause
Right.
I'm going to be there. I'm going.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you've been watching the industry for a little bit, even whether you work, in the finance side or not. So you've been watching the industry for a while, and you've probably been seeing all these IPOs that are in the pipeline, and you've been seeing, a lot of the other money. This today's particular show is kind of interesting because all we talked about was money deals happening this week. That doesn't happen every week, but it's every once in a while it's like, we have
Yep.
a $1.5 billion day, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, what excites you about all this, and what scares the crap out of you?
Okay, so what I've seen so far, just a little bit of a background on the firm and what we do. We do work with companies and startups in a capacitive advisory role, so M&A, capital raises, financing transactions. We have currently $13 billion in transactions, and we recently secured a $1 billion binding term sheet. And our advisory board has over $1 trillion in combined experience in transactions. We have also closed a $128 million deal for an IPO in NASDAQ. So we look at those transactions as well, and a lot of them are tech related. I started addressing the data center demand, but it just quickly started, spreading to AI, defense and aerospace, infrastructure. All these things are connected, and I can tell you an example. I had no idea that I was gonna, stumble upon a satellite opportunity and also Kinwood has closed a deal with a satellite company, and they basically interconnect satellites. So they have laser communications, and that is just exploding right now. Specifically, interconnectiveness. From a ground perspective, better fiber optics, faster data transfers, but also up there in space is a really big demand for sure. And there's so many deals going on with specifically communication satellites.
Okay.
And well, I guess we can move on to what scares me a little bit. There is quite a conflict of, I would say, interest between there. I feel like there's two divisions of data here, of how people want to approach data. There's some people that want to approach data into everything is connected. Everything, you can seamlessly move data across devices, and that now there's another party, and they also have gotten a lot of funding too, that advocates for data sovereignty. So I've seen companies, for example, that you can have your own data center at home and you can store it there. You can, and it's kind of like their philosophy is we don't want big companies to have your data. We want to give you the power back. And so I feel like that conflict might, slow down a little bit the process of advancing the technology towards launching better rockets and having better interconnected satellites, even launching maybe data centers in space. That's kind of like the rift. There's a rift opening up there.
Yeah,
it's a changing environment constantly right now. Buckets and buckets, boxcars full of money is starting to move towards infrastructure in space, specifically data centers. We've actually pushed back on that a little bit on this show. Like, there's some stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense to us yet, but there's no denying that there's a lot of money moving that direction. You guys focus on, do you guys focus more on the M&A side of the transactions, or more on the funding from high net worth people? Like, where does your capital come from and how do you deploy it?
So we have over 3,000 investors in our Rolodex. These are private family offices, private equity, private credits, VCs, other strategics, larger institutional investors as well. The capital basically, we M&A I really haven't worked with, and I don't have the data on that, but
okay.
The capital is basically deployed in a 12 to 14 week basis. So we have a strategy that we work with each company to reach out to their specific investor universe and then work from there.
What does kind of a perfect company look like? Like, what do you look for?
Ideally,
it would be a client. Like, you would take them on, and you're like, okay, we're going to go find capital for you, and then I'm guessing success fees is how you all get paid.
Yeah. So there is a fee structure there. Also, it's highly flexible depending on the prospect. We even have people that we wanted to bring on pre-revenue, which is not typically ideal, but the technology is being so promising that our market research has shown huge demands for these technologies. So we're like, we got to bring you on. The valuation is really, really big, and these are third-party valuations that they themselves had, and our analysis as well.
What right now, with what you're doing right now, what's the typical size?
Well, we do 10 million and up usually. But like I said, we've done $500 million deals that come out of nowhere just because we find them. And like I said, we secured a $1 billion binding term sheet recently.
350 million. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's
I only need
it's
40.
a large.
I only need...
Yeah, it's large sums, yeah, for sure. I mean, I never thought I would see a $1 trillion IPO like ever, but here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know how long you've been watching our show, but we track that from it moving from $1.25 trillion to $1.5 trillion to $1.75
Yeah.
to $2 trillion. And some of those jumps, I swear to God, happened because a tweet that was posted as a question turned into a fact when Elon said yes. Like, that's how they moved $250 billion via tweet. So yeah, we've been watching that for this play out for a while. It's insane. But like, focus back to you though. All right, so your minimum investment's $10 million. There's kind of no limit. Like you said, you did 500 million. You placed 500 million. What do you look for? Because I mean, our whole audience is deep tech. We are deep tech founders for the most of us. So let's get really specific. What does a company need to supply to you to justify your risk of $10 million on that organization? And what do you want out of it? What do you get out of it?
They usually a lot is said and analyzed when you look at the data room and the patents as well. That's basically what we look for is a technology that has the demand or that the demand is there for it on an organized data room. Like I said, we usually work with post revenue, so usually with a few close customers, just to show the investors that the demand is there for it. It's really strange because some of the people that even in the investment universe, like AI and stuff like that, they don't. You try to explain to them, that large language models, for example, they're not the only thing that exists in AI, in the AI space. Actually, I'm gonna just say this as a little secret between you guys and I and the people watching. There was a call that I was in with a company that was not using large language models. They were using a physics-based model to formulate polymers for a pretty large defense and aerospace company in the United States.
Okay.
To be used in space, frankly, and that's not LLMs or anything like that. It's deterministic. So it's really it's an ever-changing space right now, and trying to navigate what it is and trying to be like stay on your toes and discern what is good, is bad. It requires you to be on top of the technology.
Okay. I'm gonna honestly, that was a pretty vague answer. I was looking for something a little bit more specific. If somebody is trying to raise $10 million, you need to see what out of their data room to justify it. What do you talked about talking to some customers in the space industry. There's only kind of two paths there. You get letters of intent, which I have said publicly many times. Often those border on fraud because a company that's super, super small making a very big promise to another company that's super, super small making another big promise. So $1 million company making $1 billion promises. That's very common in this industry. And the VCs really kind of forced that model on these small companies. So they want that kind of letter of intent model, and it's often fictional. The other way is just go build something, usually with a government contract, go build something, and then you get the customers afterwards. So if a company really is coming to you with a request for $10 million or $20 million, what do they need to show you that justifies your risk, and how do you take that risk? How do you take that risk?
Well, I guess if you talk from the government sector, I mean, usually that means most of the time defense and aerospace. So dual use, I think, would be a good prospect. I honestly, like I said, I just pivoted into finance recently. I leave that stuff to my managing directors and the board of advisors for now, but I do, like, basically what I was brought on is to basically sift to what the technologies that exist out there are not viable, or they are. There are a lot of pitch decks right there that, you could look at them and say, yeah, I mean, it's everyone wants to build a platform, an AI platform, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So as to not waste the managing director's time, and yeah.
So your role is mostly vetting. Yours is a technical vetting. This passes the physics test. This passes the engineering test, and if it does, then you move it to the next level. Am I reading that right?
Correct.
Excellent.
Yes, that my task is to verify that the technology it's actually viable, and look at, for example, white papers, patents, and things like that to actually, from a technical standpoint, pass it on to the actual, the heavy hitters in the group. To determine what you were talking about. So I apologize for the vague answer, but I'm still kind of like trying to navigate into the finance side of things.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that was great. I appreciate the candor on the second ask of that question. You don't know us. Tom's trying to raise his capital for his airship. I'm trying to build my capital for my elevator. Everybody on our internal side of our call is trying to build something. Our audience is trying to build the future. Those are the only people. Like, maybe there's other people that are in our audience and we like them also, but the ones we care about are the ones that are really trying to build the future. And so, like, these are not vague questions that I'm asking you, because our audience wants to know how to put together a document that y'all will take a look at, because space engineering is hard, but our audience is smart and we're good at this stuff. So having somebody that is knowledgeable, that is willing to take a look at big crazy ideas and say, this should go to senior management, this should go to be vetted and evaluated. That's great. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because of the.
I've lost you, Nick. Say
right off the bat.
There he is.
There we go. Nick, say again. You were about to answer, and then you cut off.
Just give me 1 second here. What I was about to say is I'm always hoping to take a look at the technology specifically.
Drat.
This was me last week.
This is you last week. No, Nick, are you back? Good. You're back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was going to say, always the technology is something that I'm always willing to look at. From a standpoint, I don't have the quick judgment to say, yeah, this is not sound. I've had, a lot of proposals go on my desk, and I am uh, proud to say that I've been honest with them. Some of them still need work. Some of them don't really have you know, basically, they're just buzzwords slapped together and a lousy white paper
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm also, like, I'm willing to give advice too. Like I can look at your documents and say, and I've done that for a lot of people. I have done that. I'm currently doing that for someone who's trying to build their company that, it's their first one. They have no idea what to do and they're
Right.
looking for advice,
Awesome.
So it's also that voice, of like, trying to help people build their technologies, uh, because it's kind of the world's a little bit divided between, the power equity side and then, technology people. And so I personally want to be a bridge between those two.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, but also Sean looks like he came up with a question. He asks, are you guys building a balanced technology portfolio in general, or do you just look primarily for the deal?
Primarily right now for the deal, although we do have a pretty balanced technology portfolio.
Okay.
It's very extensive, and we also count all the other transactions that our senior advisors have done, and they also are experts as well in not only in the finance field but in their own specific fields. So they look at healthcare, for example, like I said already, defense and aerospace, infrastructure, real estate, um, various verticals, really.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Veronica also asked, do you guys ever conduct workshops to help startups or do something like that?
No, we don't actually, but
Okay.
I mean, I would love to get the ball rolling on that. I mean, there isn't really anybody that's doing that right now besides consultants, right?
Stick around after the show, and we close out the show. We usually chat for a little bit. Let's have that conversation. There's something probably worth talking about. Good idea, Veronica. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Something I was going to ask, guys. I know, guys. This is a show about space and money, and you're obviously looking at the industry a lot, even though you're not maybe doing a lot in it yet. I was just my question was, given the nature of how your firm works and your place in it, I was just curious if there's something out there you've been seeing that kind of excites you personally, but you're in the context of your firm, it's not quite ready for prime time, and you're not going to pitch it. Would you like to see it someday?
For sure. I mean, I've seen a lot of what excites me at the moment. I think I already mentioned it, is the shift from LLMs in AI to the like nitty gritty of engineering, which is having an AI be able to use physics to plan how to build a dam or to build materials. That is still in its very early stage, and the computational power is enormous. So I had to step back myself and say, okay, well, what should be the focus for me right now? And it just came down to energy. It's what it is right now for me. So I'm working with a lot of energy companies on that. And then once the energy is there, we will eventually have the computational power to use these new models to help us, get out there eventually, That's the biggest constraint right now. But it's also exciting because there is a path,
How strong are you on the engineering and physics of space? It's not your training, but are you?
Not really, but I'm an enthusiast.
Okay.
I would say.
All right. That's fair. You can do a lot. You can help a lot as an enthusiast. So
for sure, that's what I'm doing right now. I just connect people with capital. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
in our world, you're the prettiest girl in the room, right? if you're willing to dance, you're the prettiest girl in the room. So, you will. You should probably expect some messages from folks after this. Yeah, our industry chews up capital faster than you can imagine, right?
Yes.
It's bonkers.
Mhm.
We are a cash eating machine, this industry of ours,
Mhm.
and we're getting results. I mean, we are like
Yeah.
last quarter, 150 companies got funded, $3 billion moved into the industry, a billion a month, but the other side of that is it's a $650 billion industry now. And so investors are starting to see returns. SpaceX is going to create a tsunami of new money. And that this, if you thought the PayPal mafia was a big deal, the SpaceX mafia is going to change the world. Like,
Yeah.
unbelievably. So that's really good that you're in that position and you're willing to hear the next big crazy idea. That's pretty exciting. We only have 4 more minutes left.
Mhm.
What would you what would be kind of an ideal pitch is my first question. My second question is, what does 5 years look like from now in space? What does 5 years look like from your perspective? And then last question, what does 25 years look like?
Sure. Ideal pitch. Ideal pitch would be, a patented technology with a $10 million raise and up. Um, Usually comes from people in the industry that have been doing. For example, there's a guy that I know who was working for IBM 30 years, just quit everything, and now he's doing technology stuff that excites him. I'm very excited to work with those people because they're just so knowledgeable. They're a mountain of knowledge, and so it's so nice to learn from them. I like working with people who are just building their company, just came out of engineering school, MIT or what have you.
Mhm.
So I think the ideal pitch comes from people that understand what the market needs and how the technology that they're devising applies to it, and having a clear vision into it. The rest is just numbers. It really just is. Like, if you have something that will help build a technology that betters humanity, the numbers are just going to come in. It's basically that. Like, you are an engineer, you solve the problem, and you understand the market signal. That's basically it. That's the pitch I want. Yeah. Where I see the world in 5 years in regards to space. There's a few hurdles there. Right now, I think we're in another cycle where we don't have enough power to engage in more investments. There's a lot of constraints, in material engineering, and traditional rocket engines are getting really old. Although AI is changing the game. For example, in printing rockets. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but it's there. So that's the early stages of AI actually getting its hands-on technology related to aerospace. So I mean, in 5 years, people are gonna start talking about that, and people are gonna start saying, "Hey, like, LLMs are kind of a thing of the past, and the really hardcore technologies are coming in." So I think that's where we're gonna head. And in 25 years, I would say that's gonna be like maybe middle stage application of those things. So we're gonna see maybe some revolutionary materials come in, like very early, polymers, metals, alloys, stuff like that. Optimized electronics. I've seen tons of that. Increased bandwidth in communications. What else have I seen out there? Yeah, like energy optimization. I mean, we still haven't figured out batteries yet for electric vehicles. So I think that's maybe one of the things that we'll see get better.
Nice.
You know.
Stick around after the show, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Nick Marquez, thank you so much. An associate with Cadenwood Group in Victoria, BC. A lot of great insights, and I think you made a lot of new fans tonight. I hope we'll have you back again sometime soon
Thank you.
to talk about different issues of space and finance. Nick, thank you for being here, and we'll see you in a minute for the or the after show.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, excellent program. On Monday, our guest will be Calvin England, co-founder of Dyson Laboratories, with a lot more on the challenges of orbital data centers, which you just discussed. 8 p.m. Eastern, as always, on Monday. For Michael Lane and Sean Key, I remain Thomas Andrew Olson. Keep watching the skies.